Hey everyone. So good to be here again live. It's been a while. I think a few months since we did it last time, and I'm really happy to be here. And first, I want to welcome everyone who is actually joining live and then everyone who is watching the replay. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for being interested in this topic because it's a really big topic. And what we're talking about today is why women fake orgasm. And this conversation is for everyone, men and women, because it takes both to change this. So, for women who find themselves in a situation where they don't orgasm, they really struggle to be open about it. We're going to discuss this. And if you're a man who has had or has a partner and maybe who has faked orgasm before, or if you want to make sure that that doesn't happen, you're gonna get really good information here today as well, because this is what we'll be diving into. So again, thank you so much for being here, because when it comes to female orgasm, it really takes everyone, both sides, to do things differently. We'll speak about it today, but just to give you a quick little thing, it's the way that our society operates is that it really does not support women in exploration of their sexuality. So I want to start by telling you a little story that is from many years ago with my partner at a time. And that was in times when I really struggled to orgasm. Like, I wasn't really sure what an orgasm was. And this happened for two reasons. First, I was on the pill, which for a lot of women actually makes it very difficult to have an orgasm. And secondly, I had some unhealed trauma that I needed to look at. And eventually I did. But at that time, I just wasn't having orgasm. Like, I didn't really know what it was. And so we were dating, and that became an issue. And finally, we discussed this. And he told me that every woman he's ever been with always had an orgasm. And I just kind of looked at him, was like, darling, no. As in, like, statistically, this is not possible. Because, and I mean, it kind of doesn't really matter what statistics are, because it's not like women openly talk about it. But the number you will see online is usually that about 30% of women struggle to orgasm. And I will tell you the number is actually much higher, just because, again, women fake it. We don't want to just be upfront that we don't have an orgasm. That's exactly what we're covering today. But basically, many women really struggle to orgasm. We just don't tell you. Right. So if for any men watching this, if you feel like, oh, any woman you've ever been with always had an orgasm, and if you think, oh no, just never happened to me, not possible. It means that at least once she has faked it. It's way more common than we think. Okay, way more common than we think. And of course, if a woman fakes it, right, if she pretends she's really enjoying sex and having an orgasm, well, this is not happening. This is really bad for your sex life, for both of you, right? Well, so think about it. For a woman's, like, from a woman's perspective, right, there is something she is not getting. A woman is not getting something that she needs to feel fully sexually satisfied. And as long as she is lying about it, then she's not gonna get it. By the way, guys, I'm gonna show you. So we have a little, she's here with us. No, she does not want to be on camera. But we have a little kitty with us joining. Sorry, guys, I'm a total cat lady. I couldn't kick her out. So she's gonna be here and hopefully will not interrupt us. So again, if a woman is faking an orgasm, not speaking up, then it means there's something she wants and needs, but she's not going to get it because she's not asking, right? Then also, if she is not experiencing orgasm, it doesn't have to be every single time, but just like in general, right? If she's not really orgasmic, then it also means there's some things that are happening that she doesn't really like, that contract her body. And again, there's no chance for her to change this, for these things to stop, because she's not communicating. That means that basically a woman is not allowing herself to feel satisfied in the bedroom. Okay? Because if I'm not receiving full satisfaction, full pleasure, but I am not saying anything, basically I am not giving myself a chance to get that. And this is very important for any woman listening to this right now. is that, and I'm telling you just from my own experience, because I absolutely used to do that. There's this feeling that, oh, hopefully I won't have to say anything, and then just like magically one day I'm gonna get an orgasm. And this is not how it happens. It will never happen, because in fact, not speaking about it, not saying that, hey, I don't like it, that's what I like, but I'm not getting it. The inability to say this, the sole act of faking and lying actually contracts our body, making it every single time more and more difficult for us to orgasm. So literally every time a woman fakes it, it's like you're adding another brick to the wall that you have to take down to be able to orgasm. So this is why it's so important for women to stop this pattern of faking an orgasm. But then let's look at a men's perspective, because that is also important. We'll speak about it, that one of the big reasons why women fake it is so we don't offend a man's ego. But even if you're a man, right, and it's like you want to feel, oh yeah, like she had an orgasm with me, but it also really sucks if, for example, you're with a woman and like you think that you were good, you think that it was great sex, and then later you find out that actually she didn't like it as much. It kind of leaves you there feeling pretty bad, because you're like, wait, so you didn't like it but you didn't tell me anything? So that really doesn't feel good to you. As a man, you want feedback, right? Because you actually do care about being a good lover and helping her orgasm and helping her feel all the pleasure. So you actually need to know what she truly likes, what she truly needs, and what doesn't work on her. So like if this feedback is taken away from you, it's really kind of unfair game, because now you don't have the information to be able to show her what kind of a good partner and lover you can be. So this opportunity to learn more about your partner is basically taken away from you. So there are reasons, and we're going to look at them just in a second, why women fake orgasm. But what I want you guys to understand, that there is not a single long-term benefit to faking an orgasm for anyone, for the relationship, for a woman, for the partner. There are short-term, like instant benefits, and this is exactly why women do it, right? If there's no benefit, we wouldn't fake it. But when it comes to like long-term, there's absolutely zero benefits. In fact, there is like all the disadvantages that come with time, making it even more difficult and even worse. So again, no long-term benefits. But then what are those short-term benefits? What are the advantages of here and now that make women do it? And this is a very important conversation, because there's a few aspects that they're not fully understood. So hopefully this conversation will help you understand it on a deeper level. And I feel this is kind of like the first reason, it's kind of like the deepest reason. And the fact is that for a woman to admit that she didn't have an orgasm, it literally feels embarrassing. So we feel ashamed if we didn't come. And this is a complex kind of a point, but let's look at it from a few perspectives. First of all, we do live in a society that knows very little about female sexuality, and that includes medicine and doctors. Like today, we still have doctors who do not believe in the existence of G-spot. We have so many doctors who believe that squirting for a woman is actually pee. It's not pee, trust me. Okay, so it's like we have these deep experiences that medicine questions. Medicine doesn't believe in full body energy, multiple orgasm. So there's all of this conditioning telling women that what they are experiencing is not actually good. It's not their full sexuality, right? We're being shamed in so many different ways. It's like, if you're too pretty, then it means, oh, you're asking for trouble. But if you're not pretty enough, then you're not going to get anything in life. It's like, this is wrong and this is wrong. So that whole conditioning is extremely deep. It may not be very direct, but it's still there. And so women, first of all, don't understand fully that if they're with a partner, okay, because we always say like, oh, an orgasm is like my internal job. It's not that a partner gives me an orgasm. Yes and no. If I'm by myself masturbating, then yeah, it is fully up to me. But if I'm with a partner, then hell yeah, whether I orgasm or not depends on my partner. if I'm not getting what I need, if I'm not getting the strokes and the touch that my body enjoys that turn me on, if I am not feeling safe with my partner, I'm not going to orgasm. Like for most women who struggle to orgasm, they have no problem orgasming when they masturbate. Something happens when they're with a partner. So women don't fully get the idea that for them to orgasm with a partner, there's something they need. We think that we are just meant to orgasm, right? That being a woman, being feminine means that just like this, it's like we shouldn't need foreplay, right? Like women are nonstop rushed. Just so you know that this is not what this life is about, but like for many women, especially at the beginning when the G spot is not activated, it may take even 40 minutes of stimulation before she can have pleasure in her G spot. So now how often do women actually experience lovemaking that lasts 40 minutes or longer? Right? So there are certain needs that a woman has that basically we've been gaslighted for having those needs, right? And then, oh, what a shocker that a woman is not orgasmic. So women need to understand that the needs they have, they're valid needs, okay, even if the society says the opposite. But because women, like, we are being gaslighted for having these needs, so then we feel ashamed that we didn't have an orgasm because we think that it's something wrong with us. I recently read, and I'm pretty sure you guys have seen it in some form or another online, this whole concept that if you have a plant and it's not growing, right? It's not blooming, then what you do, well, you move it around. You move it into the place where it's going to have more sun. Maybe you're going to add more water, right? It's like you change the environment for the plant to be able to grow really strong. You don't blame the plant. And so it's kind of the same here with a woman. Every woman is naturally orgasmic. In fact, every woman is naturally multi-orgasmic. So if you're not being multi-orgasmic right now, right, as a woman, we assume there's something wrong with me, where the truth is that it's mostly, in most cases, it is the environment. You're not getting the sun and water, the things you need. But again, because of the story in our society that is putting everything on a woman, right? We're not, like, our needs are not validated, and then we wonder. So women, we take it personally. We think that there's something wrong with me, right? There's something wrong with me. It's my fault that I didn't have an orgasm. Who cares that the guy basically, put his finger inside of you when you weren't even wet? But no, it's my fault I didn't orgasm, right? So we really have the story. Women have the story that it's my fault, that that I did something wrong. There's something wrong with me. And so women really feel ashamed to admit. It's like, it's my responsibility as a woman to be able to have an orgasm. So if I don't, it means I'm not being a good woman. And you have a lot of trainings. For example, John Gray, the author of Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, he's a great coach. But I've seen quite a few videos of his when he was saying, that was during the lockdown, and he was saying, if you're having like online sex or something, what's very important for women is that you have an orgasm, because he needs this. And once again, now you're saying that, oh, as a woman, if you want to be a good woman, you need to orgasm. So if you're not, means that you're not a good woman, you're not a good partner. It's like there's all of this blame basically if a woman doesn't have an orgasm. And so again, it's very, very, it feels embarrassing for a woman. And this is something that mostly comes from the society. So it's like the general conditioning. So we cannot really necessarily pinpoint a specific person or a situation that makes us feel that, but this is the societal conditioning that impacts us all. But it can be strengthened by partners. So I personally experienced that. So after this relationship that I had where I wasn't having orgasm, and in fact, it was the reason why we broke up, because he took it very personally and he felt like he's not a good man, he's not a good lover. And so we ended up, growing apart. And so I felt extremely guilty, right? I felt extremely guilty that, oh my God, it's my inability to orgasm that basically destroyed our relationship. And so after that, I had a very short connection with this guy. And having very vivid story of my ex, like his ego really taking it personally that I wasn't having orgasm. So before I connected with this new guy, I told him, listen, I struggle to orgasm, but I just want you to know it's about me, not about you. And he responded, yeah, I know it's you. Oh my God, could you say anything worse in this moment? Like, I say this because I'm being super considerate about you. And basically, his response said that, yeah, I don't care. That's your problem. I'm just going to be here for my orgasm. So sometimes, and look, I don't think that was his intention, to be honest. I really don't think that he wanted to make me feel so bad, but it was a horrible thing to say, a horrible thing to say. Um, a bit later in this life, I will also give you some tips on how to make it safer and more available for a woman to have these open conversations. So I also speak about that, but just this is a horrible thing to say. Um, because you're blaming a woman. It's like, yeah, I don't care that you're not having orgasm. It is all on you. So that really feels horrible. And that takes me to the second reason why women struggle to talk about it. And I just want to I got a little message here. Okay, I've been with 20 women and 6 didn't orgasm. 4 was because of prescription drugs. I think 2 were too depressed to allow themselves to orgasm. So your comment was hidden, I guess, because we use the word orgasm, and social media usually don't like it. But thank you for this comment. Absolutely, yeah. So there's so many reasons why women don't orgasm. But again, if for example there's any like prescription drugs, or if she's feeling depressed, like making her feel even more guilty that, oh, you don't orgasm, it's like, and it's the same with the pill. You have to understand that the pill really makes it difficult, if not impossible, for a lot of women to have an orgasm. So it's like, it's not her freaking fault, but we make it her fault, right? So just bear in mind, like, she doesn't need any more pressure and guilt for not having an orgasm. It's like, as women, we're freaking aware we're not having an orgasm. It's not like it's like, oh yeah, no problem. Like, we feel it. We don't need you to put on us even more. And this takes me to point number 2, why women fake an orgasm. And this is a lot to all the partners listening now. And this is more true for men, definitely. But it's the fact that men make her orgasm about that, which is exactly what my ex did. Like, my inability to orgasm, like, instead of him, focusing on the fact that, oh, my partner isn't fully enjoying our sex life, what could I do to help her open up? Instead, what he did, he took it personally. It's like, oh, I don't feel fulfilled as a man because you don't orgasm. As if like my orgasm was for you. And again, this goes back to all the structure of our society, which for generation has been focused on men. If you think about it, a woman, for I think we're like the first generation when this isn't really the case, but even my mom and definitely our grandparents, a woman was there for a man, right? A woman cooked for a man. Sex was something a woman was giving to a husband. There was no such a thing as rape inside marriages because that was a responsibility of a woman. And so we're talking a little bit of this type of mindset when you think that she needs to orgasm for you, right? That her orgasm is for a man. I know that men love it when a woman has an orgasm, like it really arouses you and it adds to your pleasure. And you have all the right to do this and enjoy that, absolutely. But her orgasm is not for a man. Okay. And if she does an orgasm, it's not that, like, as a man, again, this is what my ex did, but like, don't make it about yourself. Like, oh, I don't feel happy in the relationship because she does an orgasm. That is about her. Don't steal that from her. It's about her. It's a little bit like saying, right? Imagine that someone, I don't know, imagine that I lost my father. He died, and I'm really, really sad. And then I'm speaking to my girlfriend, and she will tell me, Magda, you're really putting me down. It's not about your emotions now, it's about mine. You have the right to feel it, you have the right to feel down or whatever, but like, it's about my pain, not yours. Okay, so when men like make her orgasm or her lack of orgasm about them, you're stealing something that actually belongs to her. It should be about her. So now, because this is what women feel, this is why we fake an orgasm, because we don't want to upset a man. Literally that. Like, I could have stayed in that relationship much longer had I actually faked a lot of orgasm, because then he would feel satisfied, right? So then I would be doing something against myself for him. And this is what a lot of women do, right? Because we have received this message that our orgasm is for a man, right? If I have an orgasm, he feels satisfied. If I don't, he will not feel satisfied. As in, whether I feel satisfied, it's secondary to whether he feels satisfied, right? So yeah, women fake because they don't want to upset the men. Literally, and like I told you at the beginning, a woman's faking an orgasm makes it even more and more difficult for her to actually have an orgasm. So she's like taking away her own chance of feeling fully satisfied sexually so that he can feel satisfied sexually. That's what happens. And that's just crazy, right? It's crazy. Her orgasm is about her, not about a man. Now, the third thing I wanted to share, so again, it kind of comes all together. Remember, women feel ashamed when they don't orgasm, right? So now, very often men are just not like sensitive to understand that the way you can talk to her and ask her makes her shut down and actually pushes her to lie about having an orgasm. So this feels basic again, it feels very sensitive for me as a woman to admit to my man that I didn't have an orgasm, right? So now if you as my partner come and ask me, hey, did you come? That sentence feels threatening, feels way too direct, and makes it way too tempting for me to say, yes, I did. It feels a little bit like back in school, if you remember, when the teacher was calling on students, right? And what is, I don't know, when did this war happen? Or what are the 5 things that they decided on, right? And then if you don't know the answer, you know, oh my God, I do not know the answer. So if you say, I don't know, or if you give the wrong response, like teacher disapproves, the whole class will look at you and probably other kids are going to laugh. That's that feeling, right? Well, this is how it feels for a woman when you ask her a yes or no question about an orgasm. Because remember, a man makes her orgasm about himself, and she feels already ashamed that it's something wrong with her if she doesn't. So if you ask her, did you come or not? Saying no, it's like giving the wrong answer to the teacher. So we're scared of the reaction that will come after that. So very often we're like, yes, I have. And then hopefully that's going to be the end of the conversation. So asking like this just really doesn't feel good. Really doesn't feel good. And men very often ask yes or no questions and very often are very confrontational. Men naturally are more confrontational. Women, we don't talk to each other the way that men talk to each other. We always try to include. We talk about emotions, but the way men talk is very direct and it can feel very threatening to a woman. So often, if you like, and you can say, oh, no, she's always had an orgasm. I always ask her because I care. No, it depends how you ask. So remember, okay, the 3 important things. The first one was women feel that if they don't orgasm, it's something about them, that there's something wrong with them, right? And they're ashamed of admitting it. It's like admitting I made a mistake, admitting I don't know how to do something, that I was wrong. Secondly, is too often men make a woman's orgasm about themselves. And so a woman wants to protect the man's ego, and that's why she lies. And the last one is, even if she had no intention of lying, if you ask her in this very demanding, direct, challenging way, she may actually lie just because the way you phrase your question makes her feel very uncomfortable to tell you the truth. So now, how can we flip it around? Like, what can we do to help a woman feel more comfortable to be honest and to be open about her actual sexual experience. And again, remember that in the moment, right, we have these short-term benefits to faking and lying, none in the long term. So again, here for all men and women, you want a woman to speak up openly and honestly about her experience, because it's going to translate into better sex life and a better relationship. So in the moment, even if it's a little challenging, a little uncomfortable, right, long term you're getting massive benefits, because you're giving yourself a chance to actually enjoy sex much more and really having the kind of sex life that is fulfilling for both. So the first one is, like, the first thing, and this is like for me one of the most important things, is to start talking about sex. So the problem is that majority of people, majority of couples don't actually talk about sex. So then bringing anything up is going to feel extremely scary, extremely triggering and awkward, especially if what you want to bring up, it's a form of criticism, right? Like saying, hey, listen, babe, so I kind of have been faking it, but I never had an orgasm with you, right? This is like if you never talked about sex and that is the thing you want to bring up, that's going to be scary. Okay, so you want to start talking about sex, talk about the positive things, like making a bit of a normal daily conversation. So imagine, like, I don't know, every time you have sex, you spend some time saying, like, oh, that was so awesome when you did that. Or imagine like you're watching Netflix or having dinner and you tell your partner, oh, by the way, the other night when you like kissed my ear or you bit me a little bit, I really like that. Or talking about your fantasies and things you want to try, like watching, if you want to watch porn or erotica together, just kind of bring sex, the conversation about sex, into your normal daily life. Then bringing something up that is more challenging, that may feel like criticism, it's just not going to feel that scary, because it's not going to be so like such a big deal if you are already having these conversations a lot. So that's the first thing. Talk about sex way more often, like talk about it every day. If you're in a relationship, you have the right to talk about sex. Okay, so honestly, talk about it every day. That is my main advice, to later make space for a woman to be honest, right? Because if you have a habit of discussing sexuality, it will feel way more available for her to just be honest about her experience. Now, the second thing is, like I said, it matters how you ask her. So this is for men, for partners. Instead of asking her, oh, like, did she come? Did she have an orgasm? Or even like asking her, did you like it? Instead of having these yes or no questions, start asking open questions. And basically, I think that asking her after sex about her experience is great. I think, again, this is part of having these conversations, but just switch your questions to open questions. So you would ask her, like, what did you like? How was that for you? What was the best part? Right? And again, you want to first ask more about the things that felt good, because the more you like give each other positive feedback and like, oh, that was great, etc., it builds us up. And then we have more capacity to actually say, you know what, that one I didn't love so much, but that was amazing. Okay, so start asking about the positive things, and naturally, she and you will feel more safe to talk, share, and receive things that also feel more like criticism. The next one is helping your woman receive. So um, this is about a woman understanding that this can be all about her. Way too often women feel like we don't get to ask for what we need, right? It's like I cannot get what I want, because again, that's been kind of how women have been treated for generations. So this is about like rewiring the patterns in her brain, the thoughts and beliefs that she has, right? So women actually really struggle to fully receive, because we feel like we don't really get to receive. Like, again, for generations, we were meant to do all the things for other people. And so it really helps if you create experiences where it's just about her and it's just about her receiving, where she doesn't have to reciprocate and she doesn't have to do anything. So when I work with my couples, my private clients, we talk about this a lot, like designing this into their schedule, and how this specifically can look for them. But this can be, for example, for half an hour, you give her a massage, or or even when you make love and you can say, like, babe, all I want you to do tonight is just lie down and receive. It's all about you. Maybe like, and even like smaller things like cooking for her, right? And then just, no, babe, tonight is for you. I cook for you. I do the dishes. You don't do anything. Because, and this is true also for men, but today we're speaking about women. But women, one of the reasons why they don't orgasm and they don't talk about it is because we feel like we have to do things for other people. Like women need to really become a bit more selfish. This is a big challenge. So you can help her be healthily selfish by creating these experiences for her where it is all about her, and it's all about her just receiving from you, right? So she will be like, hey, okay, so if I'm not having orgasm, I am not willing to lie because it's against me. It's like, I deserve to receive pleasure during sex. I deserve to feel fully satisfied. So I'm going to be honest. But for her, getting to that place may be a little difficult if it's not the pattern that her nervous system is familiar with. And again, for many women, it's not. The next one is showing your woman, this is for men, showing your woman that you understand that it's normal. And I explain these in a second. Understand that, yes, like that this happens and it's common for women to not orgasm. So why am I saying this? So when my ex, and I've heard it from other men as well, when he said that every other woman he's ever been with always orgasm, like that made me feel like shit. Because basically, like, I already feel like there's something wrong with me. And now you're telling me that every other woman on this planet orgasms and it's just me who doesn't. So in a way, it's like you are disvalidating how I feel in my experience. So when you say that you understand that this happens, you're basically like validating my experience. You're validating my experience, and this is really the most important thing. Now, I said normal because it's not normal for a woman not to have an orgasm. It's normalized, as in it's common, it happens, but it's not normal. Like, women should be having orgasms, so that's why I use that. Okay, it's so funny, guys. So because we talk about orgasm, anytime you make a comment, YouTube basically hides it and asks me if the comment is appropriate. This is, by the way, if you ever see my social media, like on Instagram and Facebook, like I often like don't spell some of the words correctly. I put some dots or emojis or whatever for the word orgasm. I often use 0 instead of O, so that they don't block my comments. But I'm seeing now that YouTube likes to censor these things as well. What can we do? Anyway, Abhishek said, even when women do fake orgasm, they sound so convincing. Yes. Now, you know what? Okay, let me speak about this one. I don't think I was actually planning, but this is a good point. So, if you are enough receptive, you will know that she's faking. The problem is that, and this is like, guys, this is for all the men. We have our masculine, feminine energy, right? Masculine is the energy that gives, it's the emissive energy. The feminine is the receptive. When it comes to sex between a woman and a man, you as a man, you're in the emissive masculine energy. She's in the feminine, she's receiving. Now, if you are very strongly in your masculine energy and only in the masculine energy, you actually lose the ability to feel your partner. And this is a common complaint for women. Like, women feel like you just kind of, like, she feels like a toy, like a sex toy that you're masturbating on, because you're not actually feeling into her. Like you don't have the ability to say where she is she aroused enough for you to enter her, is she liking it or not. And so this is where men, actually, it's very, very good for men to do practices to kind of be able to step into this receptive energy at the same time, so you can feel her. Because if you become receptive to her energy, you will know that she's not actually having a real orgasm. So guys, this is something you can learn. You can learn this. And this is really what Tantra and energy work is about. again, I'm just gonna drop it. If it's something that you are interested, you can contact me through my website. So okay, when you go to my main YouTube channel, on the big banner image, you have a few logos. You have my Instagram, my Facebook, and my website. So you can go through any of those and just contact me for details. But it is something that I teach. I teach it through my online courses, and I also teach it one-on-one, whether in person or through online packages. But it is a big, big, big thing for men. So I just want to give you a metaphor that I use very often to illustrate it. So imagine you're on a train, right? And you're going somewhere, the train is going fast. If you try to look through the window, you're not going to see anything. It's just all blurry, right? You're unable to make out the details of what you see. This is what being so strong in the masculine energy does. So when you're having sex and you're so fully in thrusting, ejaculating, giving, right? It's all the outgoing energy. A woman is a blur to you. What she feels becomes blurry. You're unable to make out details, right? The only way you can know what is exactly outside of the window when you're on the train is if the train slows down or stops. So being able to be in the masculine energy while having sex and at the same time being able to tune into your woman is a skill. Most men don't have it, but you can develop it. So Abhishek, thank you so much for this comment. Okay, so like we said, right? Basically communicating to a woman that you understand that it happens. It's actually common for women not to have an orgasm, because through this you are validating her experience. If you do the opposite, basically you're gaslighting her, which makes her feel even more guilty for not having orgasm, because again, now she'd be like, wow, there must be something really wrong with me if I don't. Okay, so it's very, very important. Like, this again, this is conflict resolution and how we communicate, but you never want to disvalidate someone's experience. Like, we can have like, let's say we go out, me and my partner would go out, and I can feel jealous, right? Like, because let's say he's talking to someone and I feel jealous. Now, he may say that, hey, I wasn't flirting with her, right? Like, that wasn't my intention. Great. But he cannot say that, no, you don't have the right to feel jealous because I didn't mean this. No, my experience is my experience. Okay. I have the right to feel what I want. Now, you can explain to me that that wasn't your intention. That's not really what you were doing. But you would say it again, if we're having the conflict we want to move through, the best thing he can say is that, I understand you felt jealous, right? So he's validating my experience and validating how I felt. So I understand that you felt jealous. I can imagine that didn't feel good to you. I want to confirm that it was not my intention to flirt with her. I just wanted to be friendly, right? I had no intention of flirting, and I definitely did not have any intention to make you feel jealous. I'm sorry. Right? It's like, but you don't want to say, what? You were jealous? Well, I didn't do anything. Like, this is very unhealthy. So it's the same here. Very, very important. We always validate another person's experience, even if it's a different experience from ours. Another another hidden comment. Okay. I always ask the woman what they want me to do to pleasure them, and most of them tell me and give me instruction. It makes it much more fun. Yes. And I'll add to this one. Very often, unfortunately, women don't actually know what they like and what they want. And this can also feel a little threatening as a question when you say, oh, you tell me what you want. So it's nice to ask her and still make it a bit more open, and maybe like, offer her something and say, hey, do you prefer this or that? Or do you want more pressure, less pressure? Do you want faster or slower? So just kind of also like ask for her experience, so that she can give you feedback, will be very helpful as well. Because in most cases, women have not received enough things to know what they like. We will tell you what we like, what we want based on the past experience. And in most cases, the past experience hasn't been enough. So it's really nice if you can also work with her more. But absolutely, it's like, I love it, David. It's like having these conversations. It comes down to having these conversations with each other. Okay, and the last one that really, really helps for women to be able to talk about it openly is if you show not just that you understand that these things happen, But if you show that you're kind of in it together, that you are willing to put in the work to help her orgasm. So again, if I go back to this guy, right, who said, like, I told him that I struggle to orgasm, but it's not about you, it's about me. And he responded, yes, I know it's you. Basically, it sounded like, yeah, I'm not willing to do anything. That's up to you if you orgasm or not. Felt horrible. So this is about saying, like, oh, okay, I understand it. Let's see how I can help you. Let's see what we can do together to help you have an orgasm, right? So basically, if as a man you kind of make it like, yeah, I can't be bothered, right? It feels horrible. It feels horrible for a woman. I also had an experience with a former partner of mine, and we had a great sex life, but I was like missing something more sensual and slower. And like I asked him one day, can we have a more sensual like session, love making, like, something like, I don't know, I would love to receive like sensual massage for like an hour. And he responded, I don't have time for this. That is literally what he said, with that type of a tone. So that takes me back to the very beginning when I said that our needs, like as women, we're often gaslighted for our sexual needs. Like a woman needs a long time to warm up. We need a lot of, pampering, foreplay, etc. So hear me, I asked and I was shut down. That is not good. That does not help. I want to see that he is involved in it, that he wants to help me have an orgasm. Again, not that suddenly becomes a project, but it's like, hey, I care. I want to do everything I can to help you, right? Without putting any additional pressure on a woman. So, like, so much can be done by a man, by a partner, to really help her open up. So like I said, like whether she has an orgasm or not, if she talks about it or not, really is in like, to a high extent, it is about what a partner does and how a partner communicates. So again, this is a very important thing, because as long as a woman is faking it, she won't be able to experience orgasm, and progressively it's only going to get worse and worse. So, like I said, these are a few tips for you, both men and women, how to deal with this, to make it safer and more available for a woman to discuss this. So, I just want to give you a few extra resources if you want to go deeper. So first thing, it's about talking about sex, right? So I mean, you don't really need anything, you can just have these conversations. But something that can be actually very helpful, and I've had couples do it with me. So we have our membership platform called the School of Intimacy, and I actually have had couples join the school together and go through the courses together and then discussing them. So you can think of it that instead of watching porn, which, to a degree is really not helpful for your sex life, you can watch a course that is teaching you something, right? That it gives you new information and new techniques to practice. And then you're watching this as a couple, you're watching this together, and then you discuss these things together. You discuss what you like in the course, what you learn, and what you may want to try together. So going through courses together as a couple is a great way to make talking about sex more natural. And also, like, inside the School of Intimacy, there's a lot of courses that talk about what women want, etc. So then let's say you will hear me say a woman wants to be pressed on her perineum, and then you may be discussing, is it something you would want or not? You can experiment. And again, it opens a lot of conversation around sexuality and trying things. So I'm just going to send you guys the link for this if you are interested. So this is magdakay.com/school. I'm just going to add the link here if you guys want to check it out. Again, it's just like it's so awesome. Like, instead of watching Netflix together or watching porn together, like watch courses inside the school where you're learning skills for your intimate life, and you are having an opportunity to start talking about it on a daily basis. So highly recommended. Okay, Abhishek says, as a man, I still can imagine how so many men can casually say, I don't have time for that, totally not masculine. And you'd be surprised how many men do say this. And often, like, maybe they won't even say it, but you just feel energetically, they're like, you know it's horrible for a woman, guys. Honestly, it's one of the worst things you can say. David, no kidding, how mean. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so this is the first thing, right? Like, you can check the school, and I'm actually getting something for you guys. Sorry, I need to get the link for this. um, so this is highly recommended if you want to learn about new things. Now, the second one is I do have an online course, which I personally really, really highly recommend to all the men. And it's called Female Sexuality Decoded. And you literally have to give me a moment because I have to find the link for this course. My apologies for that. This is probably not yeah, I should have had the link for you guys, but I actually didn't think we'll be speaking about it. But again, when we spoke about what Abhishek wrote, that, it's hard to know whether a woman is faking or not. This is something you can learn. You can develop the skill to feel into her and know whether she's faking it or not. And also, I would say, like, all of the ways to help her open up and feel more comfortable. So we have the training called Female Sexuality Decoded. And I'm messaging this now for you guys again in the chat box. And it's magdak.com/female. Now, you can just get access to this training, but this training is also inside the School of Intimacy. The difference is, if you just join Female Sexuality Decoded, you're getting lifetime access to this training. If you join the School of Intimacy, this is the first link. This is the membership side. You have access to this course and all of the other courses. We have over 50 hours of content right now, and we keep adding courses. So you have access to Female Sexuality Decoded and all of other courses, but this is for the length of your membership, right? So if you're going to stay for 1 month, 6 months, a year, that's when you have the access, versus getting the access to the course on its own gives you lifetime access. So just kind of your choice, what feels better. But highly, highly from my end, I highly recommend this. Also for the women who are here. So if you struggle with an orgasm, right? Like if it's something very difficult for you, if you feel like you just cannot let it go, there's some blockages in your body, I have a special training for women that is designed to help women open up sexually. And again, this is the path that I've gone through. Like I said, I was not having orgasm. I lost the relationship because of that. And it kind of sucked not being able to enjoy it. And so I've gone through my processes of healing and exploring things. And in this training, I'm sharing all of it with you. So again, just give me a second and I'm going to get the link for you for this one. So this is called Sexual Awakening for Women. And again, here is your link. So for women, Sexual Awakening with the link. Now, again, same deal. If you want just access to this course, you get a lifetime access through the link. This course is also available inside the School of Intimacy in the membership platform. Again, the difference is, of course, the price is much cheaper for the membership, but you get access for the duration of your membership versus the other one gives you lifetime access. So up to you what feels best. But I highly, highly recommend these two courses for both, like for a woman, Sexual Awakening, for a man, Female Sexuality Decoded. Like these are my pivotal trainings. Like they're like, I've had them for quite a few years and like nonstop. People are getting access and getting massive value and transformation from that. Like, it's timeless. All of this is timeless. And just the last thing I wanted to say, if you really find it difficult, and if having that full satisfaction in your sex life is something you've been struggling with, and you feel like you actually want one-on-one focus and really like look at these things in details, I do work with clients one-on-one. I usually have space for a few people a year, just because I really want to make sure that I have the time to dedicate it fully to my clients. But there is space for a few more people if this is something you would like. And what I would say the best thing for you to do is just go to my main website and navigate from there. But you can also just go, and again, I'm just going to send you the link in a second. Doesn't seem to. Okay. So you can simply go to magdak.com/coaching. So this is for one-on-one work that you can visit there. So you guys have a bunch of links right now. to check out if you want. And hopefully these links are gonna remain here once we finish. I'm gonna also put them in the description for those watching the replay. But again, these are just a few resources for you if you guys want to go deeper. But again, just to kind of bring everything together, please remember that the reason why women fake an orgasm is because we feel bad about it. As in, like, I feel bad that I didn't have an orgasm. I feel something is wrong with me. I feel that I should have given you my orgasm, right? So the way we want to change it is by allowing a woman to feel more selfish and making it all about her, by speaking more about sexuality so these conversations don't feel very scary, and by you validating her experience and really being willing to put in some effort to help her get maximum pleasure from sex life. My loves, this is all that I have for you. I just want to give you a second and a moment if you guys have any questions. So feel free to just pop it in the chat, or if there's anything you would like to share before we go. So I'm going to wait a couple of minutes before we end. And once again, thank you so much to everyone who is here. Yeah, that's why it's also kind of funny. Like, you guys, men here were messaging like, wow, it's so not manly to say I don't have time for that. But that's the difference. You guys are here. You're willing to dedicate, like, almost 1 hour of your time to learn about this. That makes you a different type of a man than, unfortunately, quite many there. Abhishek says, I would prefer sexless marriage to fake orgasm. Well, darling, you don't have to choose between these two, Like, it's not faking orgasm or a sexless marriage. You can still have sex. Even if she's not having orgasm, you can have sex. You can have beautiful experiences and build up, in a way that assists her to having an orgasm. But also, not having any sex, it's not good. No, don't settle for that. David is, thank you. Also, where are you from? I am asked this quite often. Apparently, I have a funny accent. I am Polish. I come from Poland. Yes, English is not my main language. It's a foreign language. So sometimes I don't pronounce things correctly, and sometimes I make a few mistakes. um, Lovely. Then I guess, guys, thank you so much once again. I really appreciate that you were here today live. And for everyone who's going to watch the replay, feel free to comment. Again, if you're watching the replay, feel free to comment. I check all the comments on my YouTube channel literally every day. I log into my YouTube. I see what the comments are here. I reply if there is any questions. So you have access to me through this channel as well. And maybe the last thing I will leave with you guys, if we're not yet connected on Instagram, please make sure we do. So again, head over to my main channel. If you're not subscribed, make sure to subscribe as well. And then you can see the little icon, Instagram icon, to follow me there. It's Magda K Official. Would love to connect with you guys there as well. Post something, usually every day, and you get a bit of insights into my personal life there as well. Okay, my loves, 53 minutes. I think that's been long enough. Amazing that you've been here this whole time. Have a beautiful day, my loves. Have a beautiful February, and I am wishing you the most incredible sex life, the best intimate relationships, and the deepest self-love. Bye.